Hello guys, welcome to StudentOfLife podcast with your host Christopher. Thank you very much for being here. So yeah, I have a lot to tell you guys. So I'm going to go through the journey of like this whole 1 week, last week to now, what I have experienced, the journey from then to now, what I've done so far, the steps I've taken to like healing and everything. But I told you guys I'll keep you guys updated on everything I do. Some of the things I've definitely been taking the step to like, help myself and to really like push myself more is one of the first things. Let me give you guys this one. When I was editing that video and I was going through moments of like, I didn't even want to post it, I just wanted to delete it. I was like so scared. I said the more I watched it and just listened to myself speak, the more like scared I was getting like to post it, to put it out into the world. And then something was like to me like, why are you scared though? Why are you scared? Why don't you want to put it out? What's the worst that can happen? You was really like enthusiastic about putting this out there, helping other people, encouraging people to go to start their journey if that's something they also have. So why all of a sudden you don't want to put it out and like you're shutting down? And right there, that's when it came to like your fear of being vulnerable. Because this is literally you being bare and being vulnerable and saying something that you're going through and your own trauma you're going through. You're properly like on your podcast. And right there, I feel being vulnerable right now because you're so vulnerable right now. And this journey that you're inviting everyone to come with you on, you're going to be putting out to the world. Anybody can watch you and just like watch you go through it. Somebody can watch you the next 10 years and find you on like, on the internet and see you go through what you went through. You're scared and you're very scared of showing that vulnerability to the world. And right there, I was like, okay, that is very true. Literally, I had to like be honest with myself and have real conversations with myself. And I was like, the first step I'm taking right now to get over that fear, to get over, this trauma and heal myself is to put it out. And that's what I did. And that's why you guys were able to, witness and watch that video and listen to that audio, and just like be part of that episode. One of the other questions, I was doing some shadow working, right? So shadow work is basically when you work on the sides of you that no one else knows. The parts of you that's deep down, there's like, the traumas that people, you don't even know there's a trauma. It's just very deep down because you've just covered it with you've covered it with darkness because that's a part of you that you don't even want to put out there. So that's a shadow part of you. And that's most of our deepest, darkest secrets, our deepest, darkest like traumas and things we've been through in life, through our childhood and all the way growing up, with people, with family, with jobs, with whatever environments and stuff like that, with ourselves that we keep there. And it's time for me, like this week, the one thing I did was like literally take off, like open that baggage, that trunk, and I just started taking things out. And I was like, where did this come from? Why are you so scared? Even people that that they trust you and they tell you everything and they open up to you. And you are like their little unlicensed therapist and you have such close bond with them. You even trust them. Like, you're so good at these people are your friends. Why are you even scared of them? Like, it came from somewhere. And I had to really just like narrow it down and ask myself questions. Like I was writing questions down and I was like, where did this come from? Like for me, one thing that works for me, it might not work for you, but it might be a tip that something that might work for you that you might want to try. For me, once I started like, taking like opening the baggage and I asked myself those, I started writing it down. Where did this come from? Who sparked this power, this trauma in you? Or where did it come from? Like that's the question I was writing down. After I was writing down like, how did that make you feel when that thing happened? Once I realized like where it came from, I was like, how did it make you feel in that moment? Go back to your childhood. Go back to that little old you. That 5-year-old you, that 10-year-old you, that 11-year-old you, that 13, 15-year-old you. How did it make you feel at that moment? Whatever age you were, how did it make you feel? Go back in time. Like, do not just skip through it. Go back in that time and feel those emotions again. And I'll write them down. And sometimes even like I speak to myself, like I'll put my iPad on, put the video camera on, and I'll just start speaking into the camera. Because I might not want to write, like I just want to speak it. And that's like video journaling for me. And these are things I did this week that really helped me. And one of the things I realized, I have mommy issues. Some people have daddy issues and stuff. I have mommy issues. And I realized something that I've tried to overcome this mommy issue. I've tried to like bond and like create things with my mother and like, heal certain things and do certain stuff and things, but it never seemed to work out. It never did. I think when I moved out of my house, like when I went to uni and I moved out, and I went like across literally, I come from London and I moved all the way to Kent for uni. It was like a whole 45 minutes on the train, like almost an hour on the train. Like it's nowhere close to each other. Like it's not that close to each other like that. And that's when I think my relationship was like okay, because like I wasn't in the household. And then even that, like every time I felt like it was getting good, something would always happen, and I always be triggered and I always be getting hurt again. And I know from her side she would not look at it like that. but this is me. So I was like, but you've gone through these moments where you've tried to, get over it. You've tried to, bond and things like that, even from childhood and stuff like that. You've tried to figure out what's the problem. Why is there so much distance? And it seems like every time you try, like, the other person just kind of disappoints you sometimes, like, or they just don't. So I had to tell myself, like, if you do not do this healing for yourself, if you're gonna wait for the other person to be ready to have these conversations that you want to have, like, you want to ask them why, you want to ask them, like, deep questions that you want a closure from this person. You want closures. You want to find out maybe where you went wrong, where they went wrong, and how you can fix it. You want to, like, have proper, real, honest, transparent conversation, real life shit conversations. No sugar coasting or no sleeping underneath the rug and stuff like that. Nah. This person's not ready to have those conversations, and they've never been ready. They're not going to be ready. And if you keep waiting and you keep thinking, like, oh, I'm just going to wait to have that, closure moment, you're going to be waiting till kingdom come. And sometimes to get to heal and to get your closures, you have to turn to yourself. You can't turn to that other person, because some people, they are not ready for that. They're not ready for you to heal. They're not ready to give you the closures and, like, the conversation that you might need or you might want. And you're going to keep, like, being hurt. And you're going to keep going through, like, you're holding on to this darkness and this trauma, and keep, like, recycling in different phases of your life because you are waiting for other people. I have to realize, I'm telling myself, like, no, I'm not doing that to myself. I'm healing this, because I'm not going to go through the same thing with my daughter. I'm not going to give birth and have to go through the same thing with my children, because I'm still also, like, not healed in myself. I'm still also, like, have these traumas. It's not going to happen, because that's what happens. You go through generations, just tucking underneath the rug, sweeping underneath the rug. Not happening. I'm breaking that. I am breaking that. So I turned to myself and I just asked myself those questions. And I literally just write it down. I was speaking to my iPad, like, speaking to the person I want to speak, the person I want to write down. I was writing it down, exactly what happened, different events that happened, and how it made me feel, and how, like, it shut me down from actually wanting to be vulnerable in front of people. Always feeling like I have to always be so hard. I have to always, like, be a strong one. Even things that happened with my father, like, me and my dad, we have a better relationship now. Like, for the past 2 years, I think we've, like, he's kind of realized, like, I'm going to lose my daughter if I actually don't make an effort. If, like, I don't try to meet her halfway, I don't try to understand her. My biggest problem at home was I was always misunderstood. I was always a stubborn child. I was the one that no one understood. Why do you want to do this? Why do you want to go here? Why do you want to do this course? Why do you want to go through the traditional way? Why do you want to go through this way? It's like, no, I don't. Like, I don't want to be the statistic. Like, I'm not that. I'm gonna break part away from this system that y'all have put in place for years. Like, I'm not part of that. I don't care if you hate me, you don't like me, or you want to disown me. That's always been my mindset, and it's caused a lot of problems, like, within my family, my household. From when I was the age of 13, 14, like, I was breaking the rules. I was breaking really generational rules. Like, yo, this is how we do it here. I'm like, no, I'm not going down that road. I'm doing this, and what it did to me was, I had to then be so independent at such a young age, because I had to learn that I can't rely on anybody else. I can't turn to no one else. I have so much to prove to people, and I have so many things I have to like prove people wrong. I have to wear this armor on me that's like, yo, always a strong one. Always gonna face it. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna prove them wrong. I'm gonna do it for myself. I'm gonna really fucking run my race. That's always been my mindset. And if you're 13, 14, it's been your mindset since then. Like, by the time you get to 20, yo. And the thing is, you've survived. You've gone through everything. You've done the things you say you want to do. You haven't turned back. You haven't run back to anybody and told them they're right. No, you've proved it. You've like, literally, like, paid your dues. Anybody can't look at you and tell you, like, no, you failed, because you didn't. You will never feel like you have to change anything. You just keep going and going and going until it hits a point where it's like, God tells you, like, nah, I know you've been strong till now, but you don't have to go through it anymore. You don't have to be that strong person like that anymore. You don't have to wear this mask anymore. You've gone through that, so you've passed, you've won the fight. Where I'm going to take you now, you're allowed to be vulnerable. Take off that mask and just be you and be vulnerable. I need you to be vulnerable in this stage of your life. If you can't do it, I can't move you up. And that's why scenarios and things that happen to you that starts to, like, push you to then do that. Then it's up to you to take that step. For me, it's been up to me to take that step to be like, yeah. Because I've had different situations happen before that I've realized, like, damn, like, I have this thing I need to fix. I have this thing I need to heal from. But it's like, that thing that happened last week, Saturday, is what really pushed me. And I was like, no, it's time. It's time to do it. and I've taken a leap. And this is basically, and this has been my week. These are the things I've unpacked this week. And it hasn't been easy. It's been, sometimes I've cried because I think about it and I feel so hurt and I feel really, you know, upset. I have literally made my friends cry because they'll be telling me their stuff and they start crying, and like we've had really emotional moments with people, and it's because we're breaking out of that. And that's what I'm saying, healing is not easy. Healing is not fun, like some fun thing. It's not an aesthetic thing. It's something to just post or something to just say. It's real work, and the work that I had to even do this week, like to unpack and the shadow work I've done, I'm not even nowhere near done yet. I've just started. And this is why I just want to, you know, show to you guys and just tell you guys what I've done this week, how far I've come, the conversations I've had with myself, the things that I had to go backwards to my childhood and unpack and really have real conversations with myself and realize, like, you know, what time it is. And it's been really amazing this week, like literally. Having this fear is not something that you want to keep, or having any kind of fear inside of you is something that you want to just keep and something to boast about. People love to like trauma bond. That's the thing about generation. People love to say, oh, I have a fear of this, like now I'm traumatized, like nah, it's because I went through this, so that's why I'm like this. I'm like this because I went through this. It's just where I am. I can't change for anybody else. Oh no, like, you know, I have daddy issues, like that's my problem, like that's just my thing. People just like to glorify toxicity and glorify traumas. There's nothing to glorify. It's something that you need to heal from. Some things that you need to, like, you know, sit down yourself and really like buckle down and fix yourself, okay? Because you need to be the healthiest version of you, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, every way possible before you can, you know, get to the places you want to be. There's some places, some doors, some rooms that you cannot enter if you do not, if you are not a sensible person. And there's no growth in staying just the way you are, or this is just the way I am, bruh. There's no growth there. There's nothing nice there. You're always gonna be just the way you are. And this is just, I'm just coming to what was the end of this episode now. So I just want to give you guys, you know, what I've kind of gone through this week, what I've been doing, the journey and like the questions and the things I had to do, even things like with my friends, and even coming to the point where I understood, like, this is what I have, this is the word for it. Because if you know what you have, you can put a label on it, then you will know how to like go about it to, like, you know, come out of it. You can do research into it, you can read books about it, you can really like talk to people and really tell people what it is that you have and what it is that you need help with. Do you get me? And those that can help, they will know how to, like, you know, help or how to go about it. But if you don't know, you don't know anything, you don't know what it is, you don't know what you have, you're always gonna be confused in your head. And even when you explain to other people, or like, you know, you're going out there to like find help, you will never really find the right help because you can't really communicate what it is that you need help with. And that's the importance for me. Like, once I realized, like, it's called fear of vulnerability, I was so happy. Like, yes, I found the words for it. I found I put a label to my problem. Now I can fix it. Now I can find the solutions for it. And no matter what you're going through, it might not be fear of vulnerability, it might be fear of having anxiety, it might be, you know, depression, it might be, what's it called, fear of abandonment, fear of detachment. It can be different things. Whatever it is, I just pray that you are able to also find your help and find your solution. And I hope that, you know, me sharing these parts of myself with you and being very vulnerable with y'all, it allows you and also like encourages you to also do your shadow work. That part of you that you bury down deep, the things that no one knows about you, your deepest, darkest fear, the things you're going through in life that people don't even know, that you keep behind, that you cry to yourself at night time. I encourage you to go in there, open that baggage, pick the stuff out, start asking the questions, and just start, you know, going through the process. It's not going to be easy, but you can definitely do it. If I can, and I'm doing it so far, that means you can definitely start, you can definitely do it too. So thank you very much for staying all the way to the end. I'm super grateful. Do not forget to, you know, if you listen to me on Apple or Spotify, wherever you listen to me from, rate the show. If you're on Spotify, rate it. If you're on Apple, rate it. On Google, leave a review, share it with all your people. And also if you're listening to me right now, if you're watching me on YouTube, subscribe, like, comment, share it as well. Thank you very much, guys. Really appreciate it. Mwah.